So many black women feel slighted by their black mothers because they didn't give their daughter the white girl blueprint on going to college, which is essentially teaching their daughter how to go to college to get a husband, as opposed to going to college and getting an education, which is what most black women are taught by their black mothers. And although I do understand why a lot of black women would feel slighted about that, as someone that grew up with majority white people, and I've been side by side by the women, the daughters of mothers who were taught the white girl husband blueprint to go to college and get a husband. I'm gonna tell you this: the reason why a lot of black mothers did not teach their daughters how to go to college and get a husband was because we already come from an ancestry of slavery. Your mother just didn't want you to be a slave again. The demographic that has told me the most to not get married and to not have children, more specifically not get married, I'll leave it at not get married, it's always been white women. White women have always been the number one demographic to tell me to not get married because they get married the most and they actually know what it looks like. And a lot of the girls that I went to high school with that went on to get married, it's been over 10 years later and most of them are divorced. A lot of them are not trying to do it again, and the ones that are doing it again, it's just simply because they're codependent, right? Especially because I come from a very small town. All you can do in that town really is to get married and have children and just work a 9 to 5 and live your years that way, essentially. But a lot of white women that have been married, they understand that it really is like slavery. Like, it really is a form of oppression. And at the end of the day, that's the whole purpose of why marriage was created. Marriage was created as a form of slavery under women, okay? Because they can't exterminate women like they did, black people, or other races. Like, they couldn't do that and then colonize us because at the end of the day, we control the population because we were able to give birth. And so they knew that they couldn't just exterminate women. And we also make up half of the population. So they had to find a more sneaky way to try to get control over women because at the end of the day, that's what marriage is about. Marriage is not about love. Marriage is not about growing old with one another. Marriage is not about having someone, take care of you and have someone to love on you. It's not about that. Marriage was created by men under religion to be able to have control and ownership over women. That is the reason why you give your last name. You are giving up your last name because now your husband owns you. That is the whole purpose of marriage. It's just been repackaged through love and romance because they wanted to make it palatable for common people to feel comfortable getting married. Because even before then, marriage was still seen as a thing for wealthy people to do. So that way they could keep their money with other wealthy families. And then they could be able to make that money make them money. It never had anything to do with love. It was nothing more so than a business. And I think it's very important for a lot of black women to understand that and for a lot of black women to know that. It's just, there's no point in having an ancestry of being a slave again because they're doing it for a reason. Like, a lot of your mothers are not out here trying to rob you of some grand experience. They are not out here trying to, make it so that you don't ever, deal with men again. It's just they're trying to spare you from things that white women have known long before we were ever able to have access to it. And it's just a simple fact that you're really not going to get the experience that you think you're going to be getting if you follow this blueprint to go to college to be able to find a husband. You're going to end up divorced just like all the other white girls that end up doing it.